Hey guys, what's up? It's Foxdrop here. I'm doing another patch analysis video for you guys today. It seems like only yesterday I was doing a video of these on the last patch, but right released a new patch. It's a really small patch in their defense, and there are a few changes here, quite a few jungle changes as well. So I'll be focusing on them. As always, the links to this patch will be in the description, so you can check it out for yourself. So I won't be reading everything out for you guys. And also, just a little comment, of course, that as you can probably hear, I have a new mic, pretty expensive mic, a pretty good mic. So hopefully, I should sound a lot better. But again, this is like the first video I've been using this mic, so I'll probably sound a bit different, or I might not sound that great. And I'll be working on it in the future. You know, getting the settings right. So let me know how it sounds and stuff like that. But getting all that out of the way, let's jump right into the patch notes. So the first person that's been touched is Elise, and basically they made it so that her lane poke is not as good anymore, so her Q in human form does less damage. It also has slightly less range, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. It basically just does less damage, which is good because lane Elise is really annoying to play versus. She'll just poke you down with her Qs. So that does less damage, which is awesome. But now her Venomous Bite in Spider form does more damage. So it's good for lane Elise because, or at least I think it's a good change, because it means Elise is going to have to jump in there and trade more rather than just poking people for free. And also for jungle Elise spends a lot of time in the jungle as a spider, because you get multiple benefits for being in spider form. So you'll use your Venomous Bite a lot more, and so now you're actually doing more damage as jungle Elise with your Venomous Bite. So that's really nice, actually. This is probably a slight buff for jungle Elise, but that's a good change in general. Janna got slightly buffed, just they made it so that her knock up with her Q knocks you up for 1 second instead of 0.75 seconds when it's fully charged. Now Jarvan, this is a pretty big change. Jarvan is probably the best jungler out there right now, partially because of the meta, but he's just a really solid character. And like I said, the meta is just perfect for Jarvan right now. It's a bruiser, it's a tanky meta, it's just anyone with free stats or just good base damage are just all the rave right now, and Jarvan is just the perfect person. So he is probably the best jungler right now. And if you're going to think about this from a purely Jarvan point of view, as far as Jarvan is concerned, just Jarvan, he's been buffed. He got more. It's got a he's been buffed, but as a pick, obviously in a team game, he has been nerfed, and it's a pretty nice nerf. But I'll go over why. Basically, his shield now does more. It shields him for more and is a less mana cost. I don't think they needed to increase the shield health. The mana cost is nice because, to be fair, it's too much of a mana dump to use your shield. So that's really nice. I know lane Jarvan doesn't even get a rank in his shield because it's just not worth the mana. So I like that change, but I don't think they needed to give it more shield. But this is the big change right here. So his active no longer grants armor. So his when he puts down his flag, everyone around him doesn't get armor anymore. He still gets the passive armor from his E, but no one else does. So that's a nice change, just those free tank stats. It's good to get rid of those. And if you are kind of confused as to what I was saying before, I don't think that Jarvan... I do believe Jarvan has been nerfed, and this is a good nerf. I was just talking about it, because it's only his aura which has been nerfed. So him himself, technically, didn't receive a nerf, but Jarvan is not as good anymore. But I reckon they'll need to do some more. Nami, Tycho's Blessing, so when she casts it on an ally and it does magic damage and slows, cast it on an ally and then that person's basic attack, will do extra magic damage and slow. The duration has been increased slightly. It's not that big a deal. I still think Nami's slightly underwhelming, especially considering this Tycho's Blessing only works on 3 basic attacks. So to a certain extent, if you've got fast attack speed, it doesn't matter that the duration has been increased. So I don't think it's done too much for her. Singe has had his fling. Riot says right here, they wanted Singe to gradually burn down opponents, and his fling was doing too much burst. So they got rid of the AP scaling slightly, and they nerfed the damage as well. So that is pretty huge. This is a pretty huge damage nerf, but I think this is a good change. And the Insanity Potion, his ultimate, no longer grants him reduced duration from disables, which I think is really nice, because if there's one thing that's really annoying about Singed, apart from everything, it's the fact that you can't lock him down. It was pop his potion, took a swig of his potion and it'll just start running around and you can't shut him down. You can't stun him. You can't stop him. It'll just run around, and part of that is because of this disable thing. So I'm glad they're doing this. I think this is a nice change, but if I were a Singe player, I'd be crying a little bit right now. Taric. if you had watched Stonewall's tier list or looked at my video on Stonewall's tier list, you'd know that Taric is a tier 1 jungler, like one of the best junglers out there from the last patch when they buffed him. So they're nerfing him slightly. His dazzle now does slightly less. Well, this isn't really a change at all. Like, I rank 1. Considering you rank your dazzle last, for most of the game, you're going to have a 1.2 second stun. Which is not that much of a change from 1.5, so I don't think this makes too much of a difference. It's a nice change, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. And his Shatter, his W, now does less damage, this was partially why he cleared so fast, because he would just, his Shatter just did too much, and also the burst was crazy, like on lane as well, especially combined with his ultimate. He had too much burst, so I like that change. And also the armor damage ratio reduced to 20% from 30%. This is a nice change again, because especially with Jungle Taric, you would just like stack armor basically. Like Frozen Heart was perfect for him. It gave him CDR, it gave him mana, which worked really well with his passive. It gave him a lot of armor, and if his W damage was scaling with armor, which just allowed Taric to get very, very tanky with armor items. So I like that change. I think this is a good Taric change. Now, Blade of the Ruined King change is this was the hotfix. So this is nothing new. You guys probably already seen this. Aegis of the Legion now grants an additional 50% health regen, armor, and magic resist to minions around you. So that's pretty cool. I like that change. It's a nice change. I think the same with Bulwark as well. I think this is a bigger change for competitive play than it is in solo queue, but still, I think that's kind of nice. It's a nice thing. I don't know whether we'll see if it really makes that much of a difference or not. It might just, look nice on paper and not really do anything. But the Runic Bulwark now costs less gold, but the health has been nerfed by 100, and the magic resist, by 5 on the aura. So it's been nerfed, but the cost has been nerfed. I think this is a fair nerf, because if this item is too strong, at the end of the day, this becomes a core item and everyone has to build it. And anytime that happens, I think it's not a great gameplay mechanic. So I don't like these must-buy items necessarily. I think they're kind of stale for the meta. So I like the fact that they're making this slightly weaker. Although the fact that it's cheaper means it's more inviting for supports to be able to get it, more accessible for the support players and not just for the junglers to get. Although if you're a CLG, you would be buying one anyway. So Locket, the Iron Solari, the combined cost reduction by 150, or the total cost, the total cost has been reduced by 150 gold, but the health has been reduced by 100. So this is a nerf, and I think Locket was too powerful. Everyone was buying it. It was a core item on almost every jungler, and it was really good on supports as well, and even some top laners. So I'm glad they nerfed it, and I like the way they nerfed it as well. They made it cheaper and give less stats. I think this should be an early item and a cheap item, but not necessarily an item you would keep in your once you have in your 6-item build. In its old state, I would have said don't bother selling Locket because it's really good in team fights. But if they keep doing things like this, or this change itself might be enough, then you would want to replace it, because quite simply it's an early game item. At least I think this is the right direction to be taking for Locket. Runans, Hurricane, whatever, it's still not very good. These are just minor changes which you can read on, nothing too much to say about it. Iceborne Gauntlet now gives 10 less AP, but gives 10 more armor, and the cost has remained unchanged, so not too much to say there. But I think this is an indirect buff, because most people who buy Iceborne Gauntlet, like they say in this red text here, most people who buy it to be tanky. They don't buy it for the damage. And so when you kind of considering there was 40 AP, which is almost a wasted stats on people who were buying it, and it was still worth buying. The fact that it shows how strong it was, and the fact that they now nerf this damage a little bit and give it more to the tanky side is kind of playing to its strengths too much, and it might make it too much, but I don't know, it's only 10, so hopefully it's not too much of a difference. Ravenous Hydra, same with Runans, not too much to say about it, still don't think it's that great. Zephyr, pretty nothing much has changed about that. Seeger's Arm Guard, the same thing, but Warden's Mail and Randuin's now 5% less attack speed slow they offer, so I think that's a pretty big change, and I think it's definitely a warranted change. If a tank got this and the ADs just attack too slow, it was just, I don't know, a pretty boring mechanic to have, so I like that change. Now all the rest of the stuff are just bug fixes, so I think I'm going to end the video here. Let me know if you enjoyed it, if you like this patch analysis video. Give me a, if you liked it, please remember to like the video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if this is the first video of mine you've seen and you fancy it. I'd love it if you do that, and go and check out my Facebook as well, because I'm always up posting things and updating and even giving you sneak peeks on videos which are unreleased to my YouTube channel, so feel free to do that. But that's all I really want to say, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.